Hi everyone, thanks for coming out to today's webinar. My name is Steve Hatch. I'll be the presenter today. Today's webinar is a continuation on our series on digital content marketing for social media. Today's specific topic is going to be on Facebook and just kind of some ideas to add value and build your following on Facebook, kind of what to say. This is per the request of a couple of clients actually that I'm working with. I commonly get the question from clients that, okay, I have a Facebook account, I know how to use it, I know how to post on Facebook, but I don't know what to say. I don't know what to post about. And this is, pretty common. A lot of people might know how to post as, a personal account. Maybe have used Facebook before, maybe are somewhat familiar with it, but a lot of people don't really know how to post as a business. And so that's what I want to kind of go over today. Some ideas of what to do, what to post about so that you can build your following and get engagement through the posts that you're creating on Facebook. So I'm going to give you 10 ideas to add value and inspire others on your Facebook fan page. So let's go ahead and dive into it today. Number one, provide tips, time savers, and solutions. Develop an expertise or find expertise, be the go-to person for ideas. That's a great way to add value through information. And so depending on your niche, you can provide tips on even just some of the basic things that go along with your niche and with your industry. I use this client as an example quite frequently, but I have a client that sells fly fishing gear on his website. And so for one of his Facebook posts, he talks about how to tie flies and kind of the strategy and the theory and the how-to step-by-step of how to tie flies, even if it's just a simple instruction. So I think he's created a couple YouTube videos that show you how to tie some basic flies. I think he also has some instruction on how to properly cast a fly fishing rod. So, I mean, depending on your niche or depending on your industry, you could find a lot of things to provide those tips or instructions or time savers or solutions. One that I have done personally for my website, I sell LED light bars and light bar accessories. And so I created a short little YouTube video where I showed you how to install a light bar on a vehicle. And it didn't take a lot of time. There wasn't a high production value. It was filmed literally with just my smartphone. But I was able to, just using my smartphone and that's it, edit together a short little how-to tutorial that I was able to upload to YouTube, and it became a great source of traffic for my website. And I was able to use that on Facebook, Twitter. I think I also put the link on my blog, and then of course on YouTube itself. So any way that you can provide information, provide tips, time saver solutions, things like that, it's really going to go a long way in helping you continue to build your following. It will also create engagement. And it's not just a short little one-time thing. That people can find that video, 3 years from now, and it's still going to be just as valuable, of course, as long as it's relevant. So, really the idea behind social media, not just Facebook, but behind social media in general, is you want your account to be kind of the go-to place for people to get that information. They find value and they really value the content that you're posting, and so they come to you as kind of that go-to person or a guru or an expert or an authority in that field or on that subject. Number two, share relevant industry news. So for those of you who have never used Google Alerts before, check it out. Google Alerts is a service that you type in, whatever it is your niche idea may be. So again, if you're selling fly fishing gear and accessories, you can find news and find topics that go along with that niche and that industry. And anytime you can find news that is relevant to your industry, you can tweet about it or create a Facebook post about it or a short little Instagram video or picture. Anytime you can find industry news, you should be posting about it, especially if it relates to your niche and to your industry. So again, Google Alerts is a great site to use to be able to find information that relates to your industry. I've used that quite a bit. And then the example I want to give here for this slide is, I don't know if any of you are familiar with REI. They are kind of like a camping, outdoor, hiking, climbing retailer. They sell those types of products. And so I think it was last year, there was some hiker that was able to scale this incredibly difficult mountain. I guess you had to actually get out and use rappelling equipment and ropes and such to be able to scale to the top of the mountain. Anyway, only I guess a handful of people have ever hiked to the top of this mountain. I can't remember where it is. It's either, I want to say it was like in Wyoming, maybe in Yellowstone, or could have been in California. But anyway, only a handful of people have ever done it. And so it was quite the accomplishment for this hiker to be able to scale to the top of this incredibly difficult, incredibly technical mountain. And so it was in the news. It was a popular story at the time. And REI, of course, being a retailer of hiking, climbing equipment and so forth, they shot that out throughout all their social media platforms. They talked about it on their Facebook page. They talked about it on Twitter and on Instagram and Pinterest and all their different platforms there. So anytime that you can find, again, news or anything relevant to your industry, it's more than okay, and you actually should be posting about it, because again, it shows you're connected, it shows you're a part of the community, and it proves to people that they can follow your account because they know they're going to get cool information like that. So again, check out Google Alerts. You can set up certain settings to keep yourself up to date on particular topics. Number 3, provide must-visit websites and other Facebook pages. Now, this almost sounds counterintuitive, right? If you're providing people with other websites to go to or other websites, doesn't that deter people from going to your website? And yes, in a way it can. But again, if the ultimate goal is to be able to build our following, then it's actually a good idea, because people are finding value through your page in more than just a promotional, hey, check out our site, you get 10% off this month. That's all we ever post about. People get very turned off to that, and they're not likely to follow you long term. Whereas if we say, hey, check out this website that has a list of the top 10 fly fishing destinations across the United States, and you're a retailer that sells fly fishing gear, then chances are people are going to say, wow, this guy provided me with this awesome tip. I want to continue to follow him because I know I'm going to get that great information on a continued basis. So it's okay. It's more than okay to link to other websites. Of course, as long as they're not direct competitors. You're not going to link to a direct competitor. You're not going to link to their Facebook page or to their website. But anytime you can, link to someone who kind of supplements your niche, your industry, it's more than okay to do that. Number 4, use useful or interesting info. And this could go along with like facts, statistics, trivia. I want to give you guys a website to check out where you can go to get a ton of just really good information that can kind of go along with your niche. The name of this website is called Statista, statista.com. And let me pull that up and I'll spell it for you. Oh, if the screen sharing might not be working today. Let me see if I can pull it up anyway. So the spelling for that is Statista, statista.com. It's a statistics portal where you can go to find information really on any type of niche or industry or product. I've used that quite a bit. We actually use that website quite a bit in our coaching. So like if you're looking for, let's say you have a website that sells pet supplies, and you want to know, how much consumers in the U.S. spent on pet supplies last year in 2015. You can find interesting tidbits and little statistics. There are also articles, full research articles that are done through this website. So it's just a great website to find information that relates to your niche or your industry, facts, statistics, trivia. I think they have a free version, and then I'm trying to remember what it is, maybe $30 a month or something like that if you end up paying for their membership, or you can continue to use it with like a limited access or a light version, I think is what they call it. But either way, it's a great resource, and I would recommend checking it out, Statista.com, for finding information that relates to your niche or your industry. And that's a great way for even just creating a simple, very basic Facebook post. And it could consist of something like, hey, did you know that in 2015, consumers in the US spent over $19 billion on pet supplies? Just a simple statistic like that. And it's just something that's interesting, right? It kind of, and it relates to your niche, it relates to your industry, and people find that, interesting information. So again, Statista.com is the name of that website where you can find information that goes along with your niche and with your industry. Number 5, share business brilliance. Become the go-to page where others come for inspiration, information, or action steps. Now, we've kind of covered this in some of the previous slides, so I don't want to spend a ton of time here. But anytime you can share information, and you don't need to give away all of your strategies and everything that you do for the day-to-day operations of your website and marketing and business, but anytime that you can share information, again, kind of like we talked about earlier, tips, stuff like that, it goes a long way into getting people to value your account, and it gives them a reason, of course, to continue to follow you. Number 6, share a quote. Inspire others with the words of others. So there are some people that I've noticed who will do this and kind of overdo it. It's a good idea to share an inspiring tip, but try and, if possible, try and relate that back to your niche or your industry. If you're just sharing, random inspirational quotes that don't really relate to your industry, there's not a whole lot of value in that. Yeah, you'll still probably get likes, and it's good kind of filler information if you need a Facebook post that day and you don't really know what to say. You can find an inspiring quote, but if possible, try to relate that back to your industry, or relate it back to maybe a trending topic. If there's something in the news that's trending, I mean, today, of course, is the election. We want to avoid politics, obviously, but even if it's just a quote that talks about, going out and voting, it could be something that, provides value, and again, just kind of gives people a reason to continue to follow you. Number 7, do a how-to tutorial on your subject. And again, I've kind of covered this as well in previous slides. So is your product demonstratable? Do you have a tip or a time saver? Again, I'll use myself as an example. I created that video on how to install a light bar on a vehicle. So if you have a demonstratable product, creating that video goes a long way. If you don't have a demonstratable product, you could just do a simple review on the product. So let's say, going back to the fly fishing website that I use, let's say you have, a certain fly rod that you sell on your website. You could just do a simple review of that product. It could be a short little 1-minute video where you say, hey, welcome to our site. Today we're going to do a short little review on this product. And all you have to do is just simply talk about the features and benefits of that product. And if you actually have it in your possession, in your hands, you could demonstrate it, but it doesn't even have to be that. You could just the whole video could just be a slide, a picture of the actual product itself, and then it could be you just talking about the product. So you could talk about the features and the benefits of the product, because the features are what describe the item, but the benefits are what sell it. What can the product do for you? That's what sells the product to the consumer. So again, if you have a demonstratable product and you can do a review on it, great. If it's just a simple product review, it's another great way to, again, gain exposure, create engagement with your followers, and continue to build your Facebook following. Number 8, connect with emotions. What's funny? What's endearing, heartwarming, inspiring, courageous? If you can connect with your followers, again, that's going to build that rapport. It's going to build that relationship basically with your followers. So anytime we can connect on an emotional level, it's going to go a long way to get people to follow you and continue to follow you. So the example, I've given this one before as well, but I have a client, I'm trying to remember what the product is. I can't remember what the product is, but anyway, they have a website, retail website, and for one of their posts, they talked about one of their close friends who had been struggling with breast cancer and was battling breast cancer. And so they talked about how they were able to help sponsor a race. I think they did a 5K to raise money for her cancer treatments. So, anytime you can connect on an emotional level with your followers, it's more than okay to do that. And it's not necessarily, we're not exploiting that person. We're not using that to, for our gain. They were using that as a way to help them. So anytime you have like an inspiring cause or an event or something like that, it's more than okay as a business to promote that. It shows goodwill. It shows that you're part of the community and that you care about others. So that's a great way to kind of connect with emotions and connect with your fans and following. Number 9, use reoccurring themes. So you'll notice as you start using, especially Twitter's really good at this. Probably Twitter and Instagram are probably bigger than this than Facebook. But there are themes that you can go with the use of like hashtags. So people use something like Motivation Monday or Tuesday Tips or Throwback Thursday is another one. So you'll find that there are certain days of the week where you can create a post about whatever that topic is. So if you went and looked on Google, just did a simple Google search for reoccurring social media themes, you'll be able to find all the popular ones out there. There's one literally for every single day of the week. Throwback Thursday, Tuesday Tips, Monday Motivation. You'll find those kind of themes that you can run with, and oftentimes you can find themes that even relate to your niche or to your industry. So the best way to go about finding these is doing a Google search. So try doing like reoccurring theme for Twitter, for Facebook, or for fly fishing gear, whatever your niche may be. Do a search for it, see what's out there, see what other people are posting about on those social media platforms. And lastly, number 10, share more photos. We as a social media generation are very, very visual. It used to be when social media was first invented with Facebook and with MySpace that people rarely used pictures in any of their posts. The post was just a simple line of text usually. Well, now, if you don't have some type of corresponding video or picture attached to the post, chances are people aren't even going to read it. You'll get very low engagement on those posts. So if or whenever possible, try to add a photo, even if it's a photo you took, or it could be a photo from a stock photography website, it could be one you just found on the internet, but always try to include a photo in every single post, photo or a video, because it has been proven that if you do that, you'll get much more engagement, you'll get more people liking, commenting, sharing the post than if it were just text itself. So hopefully that kind of gives everyone a few tips or a few ideas on how to post on not only Facebook, but really any social media platform. And this will overall help you build your engagement, get more followers, and ultimately get more traffic and sales to your website. So I now want to go ahead and open up the webinar to any questions. If anyone has any questions, now is the time. We'll give it a minute or two, and then we'll end the webinar. All right, I'm not seeing any questions, so thanks everyone for coming out today, and we hope to see you all again next Tuesday.